Hello, this is Marian Pena coming to you from seemstobeso.com. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to open project files in Electric Quilt. So let's get on with it. It's pretty easy to open project files in Electric Quilt. When you open Electric Quilt, after you see the tips window, the first thing you're going to see, and it always pops up, I don't even think there's a way to turn it off. You could just click cancel if you wanted out of it. But you can either start a new project or you can open an existing project. This is where you would open project files as well. You would just simply click here to open a project listed above, and I'm going to kind of come over here to my patterns and see what I can find here. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have found the file that I want to open, and I'm just going to quickly open that. This is my current winter row pattern, and once you open it, you may not see anything displaying, but there is stuff here. For instance, here's my row, and here are the blocks that are featured. And that's pretty much all there is to opening a project file. But let's say you want to take it a little bit further. You can look through the other tabs to see what's here. There's pretty much nothing else. It's just usually going to be your fabrics, your blocks, and if there was a quilt block layout, and there should be one when you open a project file. It doesn't mean there will be, but it doesn't mean there won't be. So you want to check both, because having the quilt will help you to see a preview of what you're making. And that's why I like project files, because I at least get this to see. If you had a library file, which is a .blk, you won't get to see what you're supposed to be making. It's just the blocks and the fabrics. So that's the difference. So let's say I want to do something with these blocks. Well, I could take and click a block, and I could hit edit, and it would put the row or the block onto my workspace. As you can see, I drew this in Easy Draw and Easy Draw and Patch Draw, and that gave me 4 tabs: the tracing, the Easy Draw, the applique, and the color. The only part of this block that's pieced is the fence and the background. The rest of it is all drawn on the applique tab. When you go to the color, you're going to see the various colors and such that I use to create the block with and give it some color to help me too when I'm picking out my colors. Boy, do I wish I'd had that stripe when I made this block. Anyway, the next thing is once I do all that and I save it, if I want to change colors, this is where I can do it. And if I wanted to edit the block, then I would do it on one of these 2 tabs. Let's say I wanted to change the size. I would do it up here, just by coming up here and changing the size. So what if I want to add these blocks to my library? Well, that's where I'm going to come up here to libraries, and I'm going to click on the block library, and I'm going to go to my library, and I'm just going to kind of choose a little folder here. I'll do it here because I've already got my blocks in here. So anyhow, these are this is just a miscellaneous for the fences. And so now I'm going to go back to my sketchbook. I want to have my library open because one of 2 things. When you go to your sketchbook and you then select your blocks and you come back, it will remember the last library you were in. Whereas you risk, sometimes you may not think about it, and you risk losing the copy part of your blocks when you're in your sketchbook and you come back to the library and they won't paste. So I like to come to the library first and select my folder. Then I'm going to go to the sketchbook. I'm going to come over and I'm going to just select all of my blocks. I'm going to press copy. I'm going to go back to my library. And as you can see, it has saved it. And I'm going to go to paste, and there's my blocks all nicely saved. And I'm going to click save my library, and voila, they're saved to the library. The only, like I say, the only thing that's difficult with this one is that you can't save it as a, you can't save the quilt layout from your sketchbook. So that makes it difficult when you want to have that ability to see the quilt. So what I would do in that case is I would open my sketchbook, I would go to the quilt, I would open the quilt, and I would go to File, Export an Image, and then I would export the image and keep it in a folder so that I know how I would name it the same as my PJ7 file is, so that when I go to see that, instead of going to the Open tab here, where you don't see any images, and like I say, sometimes there's nothing to see on here. As you can see, we have some of this, and we have some of this, and that kind of thing, and you don't always get to see what is here. If there's no quilt layout on your project or P7E files, which is the file the Electric Quilt makes when you're creating new projects, you then won't see anything in this display, and that's why that happens. So, like say, I would just come back here and I would export an image. I would give it a name, and I'm going to add, just so I don't overwrite my current file, and then I would just save it. And then I would make sure it's in the same folder as my project file, so that even though I have the blocks in my library, I can at least go and I'll show you what I mean. So as you can see here, I have both the PJ7 and the JPG file in the same folder. I'm showing my thumbnails view, and if I wanted to, I could even enlarge this so that I could see it a little bit better. This way I can open it. It just shows me, the idea is it's just telling me what this is in this file. And I pretty much do this with a lot of my files where I don't have an Explorer type view for the thumbnail. So this is just a little tidbit for you. So I hope I've explained pretty much how to open them, how to use them to edit, how to see them on the quilt layout. You can even take and you can make a new quilt. We'll just kind of go over here to the quilt tab, and we're on it anyway. So if I do new, oh dear, I think oh no, I'm still there. So I could take and I could put these blocks into a different way. I haven't set anything. I'm just trying to show you that you can set these on a new. Oh. Okay, I've never had that happen before. So, but I can show you real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so like I said, you can just take and you can move them into any position you want instead. And that's the other thing you can do with project files. So, you know, there's just all kinds of different possibilities that you can create with project files and what you can do with them. And that's how having them is nice. If you need to change the size, you can change the size. You know, just whatever, you know, and you can print out, you know, your template, you can print out a layout, you can print out, in this case it's applique, so you really couldn't print out paper piecing or rotary cutting, but those are all your options that you have with project files when they are different things. The other thing you can check when you open a project file, excuse me, is take a look at the note card file. It's going to tell you any information here. Some designers don't fill this out. I always fill mine out. I try to tell you the size of the block that it's good with. Sometimes I will say, if it's not applique, if it's a pieced block, I will say this is a pieced block, or if it's paper piecing. It helps to kind of know if you can, so you can print it out. But it's really important, that you remember to look at the note card, because the note card is an important and valuable part of Electric Quilt software. So, with that in mind, and if the thing about the note card is they disappear when you click outside the window, but if you want them to stay put while you click outside the window, they will stay put just by clicking the little lock icon. Okay? So that's pretty much it for this lesson on Electric Quilt today. Next week I'll be back with a new tutorial, and I will see you soon. Have a great day, and bye-bye for now.